The ceasefire has been the ceasefire has been violated. The ceasefire has been violated. Wow. This is something we mentioned yesterday that don't think that Iran has had victory. And we said it yesterday that Iran has not have victory. So the ceasefire has been violated. Yesterday we said Israel is not happy, and indeed Israel came out and attacked Lebanon. All right. Israel says we are not part of the deal. We're not part of the deal. We're not going to abide by the deal. So no more ceasefire. The ceasefire has been violated. War continues. The war continues. You remember that yesterday we did mention that this war, when it started, we were not consulted, and when it ends we shall not be consulted. And we did mention that yesterday that it is impossible that Pakistan would have more power over Trump's handlers and Netanyahu's handlers. We mentioned yesterday that both Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are controlled by the same handler. And I said yesterday, is it possible that Pakistan had more influence to Donald Trump and to Iran than the handlers of Donald Trump? And I said it was impossible. I said that the ceasefire agreement does not make sense. And indeed, the ceasefire agreement did not make sense. And now the ceasefire agreement is gone. All right, the ceasefire agreement is gone. All right, so a lot is happening here. And even new players are coming into the picture. I said it 2 weeks ago that 2 weeks ago we said that the Pope is behind the war. You'll remember on our episode 2 weeks ago, we said both Iran, Israel, and the United States of America are controlled by the same master. We said it. We said it. And yesterday it was rumored that even the Pope of Rome, even the Pope of Rome has been told to choose sides. All right. And I told you from the beginning of the war that this is a preparation for the Pope of Rome to occupy Israel, because the Pope of Rome wants Israel. I said the Pope will emerge a victorious of this war. I said the Pope wants the land of Israel, and they must create a crisis in the Middle East, and then Pope will be called upon as the man of peace. As chaos escalates in the Middle East, as war escalates in the Middle East, they will look for a man of peace, and that man of peace will be the Pope. I mean, yesterday the Pope was saying that this war must come to an end. The war must come to an end. We need a better solution. I can tell you, we have breaking news that they saying the new reporting reveals that the Pentagon threatened the Pope, Pope Leo, as ambassador over the Pope's anti-war statement. So the Pope's anti-war statement, I can tell you, it is not the Pope's anti-war statement. I can tell you the Pope is part of this, but we need a way to introduce him to this war. We said it 2 weeks ago that the Pope is part of this war, and many people said, no man, conspiracy theory, impossible. The Pope is not part of this. The Pope, it's coming to light now. It's coming to light now. Well, welcome to you all, and thank you for joining us. This is All Things Podcast, coming live from South Africa, and we're analyzing the ceasefire agreement, which was violated in less than 24 hours. And the new player in this war is the Pope. The Pope Leo is the new player in this war. Stay tuned for you to understand why we're saying that the new player in the war is the Pope of Rome. All right, so yesterday we learned about the ceasefire agreement, which Donald Trump in his Truth Social announced that they've reached an agreement with Iran of ceasefire, 10 points. But later on, when they saw the people of Iran celebrating, it became a negative news to the United States, and the United States decided that we're gonna turn back on the agreement because we're now looking like fools. The people of Iran are celebrating. The people of Iran are saying victory, victory, victory. The US was made to look like failure, to look like they've failed. And so they did not like that gesture. And then they went back on their word, on the agreement. And we said it yesterday that the officials in Iran, they do not trust Donald Trump. They do not trust the United States of America. They said it yesterday. Yes, we do have this ceasefire agreement, but we do not trust Trump. We do not trust America. And for real, America turned back on their promise, on the agreement between them and the Iran government. All right, so this is what we want to do today. We want to take a look at the statement by Donald Trump. Okay, now turning away from the agreement, because it is shocking. Yesterday, Donald Trump was bragging that we have heard an agreement with Iran of ceasefire, and therefore all that is waiting for us is to keep talking, keep talking. But now tables have changed, and the United States have turned against their own agreement with Iran. All right. So this is what I'm gonna be reading from what has happened. All right. So this is a breaking news. It's been a breaking news since last night. Unfortunately, we can only go live at this hour. You know, I felt like we could go live yesterday night. All right. So this is what is happening. This is what is happening. Yesterday, we did say that it is impossible for Pakistan to have power over Israel and have power over the United States of America. I said the handlers of Benjamin Netanyahu are the same handlers of Donald Trump. And when these people have not achieved their goal that they wanted when the war started, I said the war will not gonna end. I said if the war had ended through this ceasefire, it will mean that the United States of America has achieved its goals. I remember that we spoke that, don't you think that the United States of America is coming to an end? Because a lot of people were saying yesterday that this is the end of the US empire. This is the end of the US as a superpower. This is the end of the United States of America's muscles. And I said it is impossible. According to prophecy, the United States of America is the last empire, is the last world empire. After the United States of America, there will be no other empire that will rise into global dominance. The United States of America is the last world superpower. For those who are joining us for the first time, welcome to All Things Podcast. And this is what we've been sharing here at All Things Podcast. We looked into the prophecy. The Bible told us that there will be 7 world empires, all right? 7 world empires. And the first world empire was the kingdom of Babylon. The second one, Medes and the Persians. The third one, Greece. The fourth one, pagan Rome. The fifth one, papal Rome. Number 6, the French Revolution, all right? And the number 7 and the last kingdom is the United States of America. That's what we are dealing with. So at this point, we are living during the last world empire, the United States of America. So what the United States of America needs to do is to gain control of the entire world, gain control of all nations of the world. Right? And they will do that using war. And the United States of America identified 5 enemies that they need to deal with. They identified Venezuela, Iran, China, Russia, and North Korea. All right? These are the enemies that the United States of America identified, that we need to get rid of these powers. We need to control these nations. We need to have them under subjections to our own authority, our own power. The countries are as follows: Iran, Venezuela, China, Russia, North Korea, 5 of them. And the United States of America has already dealt a blow to 2 of them. Venezuela is gone. Iran, they're busy dealing with Iran. And I said that we need to look at this war, analyze this war, not through a single event, but we need to look at all that has been happening in order for us to reach true analysis and correct analysis of what exactly is happening with regards to this war. Okay, and so yesterday we said every coin has two sides. It does not matter how small the coin is. Every coin has two sides of the coin. And we said yesterday that it could be that this is a scheme for the Donald Trump and Israel to take a break and strategize and come back to war with full might. Or it could be that indeed Iran has defeated the United States of America. We even said that we don't believe that is the case. And the reason we don't believe that Iran can defeat the United States of America, the reason we don't believe that the United States of America can surrender, it's because the United States of America, it is the most powerful nation under the sun. Military, financially, in all aspects, the United States of America is the most powerful nation in the world. Okay, there is no nation military-wise that can stand toe-to-toe against the United States of America. Again, we said Israel and the United States of America are controlled by the same power. Controlled by the same power. And 2 weeks ago, we identified that power as the papacy. Okay, and we said the United States of America is gaining control, global control. And when it has now amassed this global control, it will then hand over this power or this global control to the papacy, the Roman Catholic Church. All right, history tells us that the Roman Catholic Church ruled the world from 538 AD to 1798 AD. All right. And prophecy tells us that the United States of America will hand over power to the papacy. In other words, the papacy will come back to rule the world for the last time, and then the end of the world will come. All right. So yesterday, when we hear that Pope Leo's ambassador was ordered to the Pentagon, and was told that the church, the Roman Catholic Church, needs to choose a side in this war. Do you know what that means? Do you understand what that means? Michael Ville or Michelle Ville, welcome, and thank you for joining us. Says you are not talking the truth. Well, if I am not talking the truth, it is fine, but I just want you to look at the events that happened yesterday. Did the Pentagon summon Pope Leo's ambassador? If they did, what did they tell the ambassador of Pope Leo? All right, and did Iran and United States of America have an agreement yesterday of a ceasefire? If they did, what were the basis of the ceasefire? What were the basis of the agreement? It was the 10 points, all right? But when the United States of America saw the world talking about the victory that Iran has had, okay, then America decided to change. All right, Mr. One Boston says America will be underwater by then. Listen, the United States of America is not going anywhere. This is what we've said. Yeah, this is what people we need to understand. We need to understand. The reason we are never wrong in this podcast, the reason we're never wrong, we never mislead you, the reason whatever we say come to pass is because we follow prophecy. It's because we have a chart, and that chart has been correct since the first kingdom began. Since the kingdom of Babylon, the chart we're following has been correct. The chart, the prophecy told us that there will be seven world superpowers. And beginning from Babylon, when we trace the world superpowers, there are indeed 7 world superpowers. The chart or the map has never disappointed us. Prophecy has never disappointed us. Whatever the Bible prophesied in the book of Daniel and Revelation are being fulfilled and have been fulfilled accordingly and will continue to be fulfilled. So what we see with the United States of America, prophecy has told us that the United States of America is the last world superpower. There is no other superpower after the United States of America. What the United States of America will do will hand over this power to the Vatican, will hand over this power to the papacy, the Roman Catholic Church. And the Roman Catholic Church will do what it did in the past from 538 AD to 1798 AD. And the government of the papacy will lead us to what we call Sunday national laws, all right? And Sunday national laws will require everyone on earth to observe Sunday as a day of rest, a day where no work is done, a day we spend with family, a day where all business globally must be shut, okay? And those who refuse to join in with this government of the papacy will be persecuted. But the first step is that they will not be able to buy or sell unless they are in line with the papacy. Okay, so when we talk about the mark of the beast and the end time, this is what we're talking about. So after the United States of America, there is no other superpower. Some people were saying China is now the new world superpower. Some were saying Iran is now the new world superpower. Some were saying this gives Russia to be the new world superpower. Impossible. It will never happen. Master One Boston says, what you don't understand is that the magnetic field is failing. Brother, there's no magnetic field. All that you see, there are two sources of information today in this world. Two sources of information. You have the mainstream media. Mainstream media, whatever we hear from the mainstream media is orchestrated by the Freemasons, the Jesuits, the Illuminati, and the rich billionaires of this world who wants to control our world. Okay, they own the media, they own the universities, they own our colleges, they own everything. Okay, so whatever they're telling us is what they want us to know. And we refuse to only listen to what they want us to know. We go beyond what they're revealing to us. Same with the war. The war, it's not about nuclear power. The war, it's about the United States of America having control of the oil of Iran. The war, it's all about that. The war, it's about the United States having control of the oil in Iran. All right. And they could not do that during this war. They failed to achieve that. All right. Okay. So until they achieve that, the war will continue. All right. And I said that they need to have a government in Iran, a government that will be able to do their bidding, a government that will be friendly towards the White House, a government that will listen to what the United States wants to say. Until we have such a government in Iran, the war will not end, all right? Because they want to control the oil, so that when they control the oil in Iran, they will be able to control China. Because you'll know that the next enemy or the next target of the United States after Iran, it's China. But we know that China gets most of its oil from Iran, from the Middle East. So the United States of America must control the oil in the Middle East. Once they control the Strait of Hormuz, they are able now to control the oil in the Middle East. The war, it's about that. It's not about nuclear. It's about oil, all right? The war, it's about oil. Because once they control the oil in Iran, they can now have influence upon China, because China depend much on the oil from Venezuela and the oil from Iran. And they already have Venezuela in their pocket. So this is exactly what is happening. But I would understand if you're analyzing the war based on one event, you will miss the whole picture. Do not use one event to analyze the war. Analyze the war from the day it began. What was the goal? What was the mission? What is this war all about? Okay, remember the Russian foreign minister a week ago told us that the war in Iran, it's in preparation of a reshaping of the new world order. They told us last week that this war It's a reshaping of a new world order. All right. What is that new world order? You will know that the new world order, it's a one world government. We've been saying this. We've been saying this from as long as 3 weeks ago that there is a one world government on the pipeline. And the leader of this one world government will be the Pope of Rome. All right, the Pope will be the leader of this one world government. And not only are they planning for a one world government, they are also planning to have a one world religion. And this one world religion will also be led by the same man, the Pope of Rome. Those of you who know history and you know the Roman Catholic Church, you will know that from 538 AD to 1798 AD, the leader of both the Roman Empire and the Roman Catholic Church was the Pope, right? The leader of the Roman Empire from 538 AD to 1798 AD was the Pope of Rome. So the Pope was both the leader of church and the leader of the state. So the one world government will bring us back to the time where the papacy was on the throne, where the papacy was in control of the world. And the papacy, it's a combination of church and state. That is why yesterday the papacy was brought into the picture. That's why the papacy is now introduced in this war, because the Pope must be seen as the peacemaker in the Middle East. Chaos will continue in the Middle East, and the Pope is the one who will be elevated as the man of peace. Okay, and once the Pope is elevated as the man of peace in the Middle East, therefore globally the Pope will be paraded and shown to be the man of peace, because wars are still going to come. How can you have a one world government? All nations must rise against nation. There must be war between the nations. And then the solution to stop wars, because nations are fighting amongst themselves. So the solution to stop or to prevent nations from fighting is to have a one world government. The one world government, it's a solution to end wars, according to them. Because if we have a one world government, who would be fighting who? Who will be attacking who? No nation will be attacking any other nation, because we are one nation. We are one government, okay? So the one world government, it's a solution to these wars. So we're going to see more wars. We're going to see more death, okay? And not every war will be fought through missiles, through bombs, through drones. Some war will be financial war. Some wars will be pestilences, sicknesses, and diseases. This is their agenda. This is their plans. That's why we're saying you don't have to look at, do not analyze the war based on what you saw yesterday. Do not analyze the war based on what happens today. Look at the whole picture. These things are a chain. They're linking together. Welcome to All Things Podcast. I am your host, Nati. We are analyzing the failed ceasefire between Iran and the United States of America. Israel came out yesterday and said, we were not part of this ceasefire agreement. We were not consulted on this ceasefire agreement. Therefore, we do not recognize the ceasefire agreement. And that is why the war is back. The war has started again. The war is continuing. More people are going to die. More buildings going to be destroyed. More lives are going to be destroyed. This is what Israel wants, and this is what the United States of America wants. They want to destroy lives. They want to kill, because they have an agenda. Their agenda is one world government. All right. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. If you are already subscribed to the channel, we thank you for coming back to All Things Podcast. All right. Now, let me take this time now and then read a few things here on the record. All right, a few things on the record. This is what Donald Trump said in his Truth Social. He said, all U.S. ships, aircraft, and military personnel with addition, ammunition, weaponry, and anything else that is appropriate and necessary for the lethal prosecution and destruction of an already substantially degraded enemy will remain in place in and around Iran until such a time the real agreement reached is fully complied with. If for any reason it is not, which is highly unlikely, then the shooting stars bigger and better and stronger than anyone has ever seen before. It was agreed a long time ago, and despite all of the fake rhetoric to the contrary, no nuclear weapons and the Strait of Hormuz will be open and safe. In the meantime, our great military is loading up and resting, looking forward actually to its next conquest. America is back. That is Donald Trump saying this yesterday. Okay, but here's the thing about Donald Trump, all right? He was the one who posted on Truth Social telling us that they have reached an agreement with Iran. It was Donald Trump saying that the 10 points that Iran demanded are workable. You'll remember yesterday if you've been following this. It was the same Donald Trump. Later on, when they realized that Iran is celebrating, Iran is shouting victory, victory, Iran is saying we defeated the United States, then the United States, the White House made a U-turn and said the 10 points were thrown into a garbage by Donald Trump. All right? Then the White House came out and said the 10 points were thrown into a garbage bin. We do not accept them. We do not see them. We do not recognize them. We do not want them. All right? At Robert Bush, welcome, Robert Bush, welcome, and good morning, brother. So the Trump administration lied, saying that we never accepted the 10 points. They did. They did accept the 10 points. Trump did accept the 10 points. That's why Iran says they've now betrayed their agreement that they heard. And something that happened in the United States, those of you who are watching us from the United States of America, you know, when Israel came out and said, we reject the ceasefire agreement, we will not abide by the ceasefire agreement, we're going to bomb Lebanon, we're going to continue bombing Lebanon, the media in the United States of America said nothing, all right? Said nothing. TV was silent, all right? Radio was silent. They said nothing. And Israel began to attack Iran. And when Iran responded, oh, Fox News was there. Why are they attacking Iran? All the CNN of this world, everybody, when Iran began to defend themselves from Israel, then a whole lot of noise was made that Iran is breaking the ceasefire agreement. It was not Iran that violated the ceasefire agreement. It was never Iran. It was the United States of America and Israel that violated the ceasefire agreement. All right. And we said yesterday that it does not make sense. It does not make sense that Pakistan can have authority over Israel and over the United States of America. That America will listen and obey Pakistan. I said yesterday, it does not smell good. I said yesterday, it does not smell good. It does not make sense that Pakistan, a player who was nowhere to be found during this war, can all of a sudden come and tell us that you need to stop the war, you need to stop fighting. I said it does not make sense. And indeed, it did not make sense. And so the handlers of Trump and the handlers of Israel said, go back to war. We did not tell you to have a ceasefire. We did not give you a mandate to have or agree on a ceasefire. Go back to war. Trump was ordered to go back to war. Israel was ordered not to obey the ceasefire agreement. All right. Both Israel and the United States of America are controlled by the same handler. We've been saying this for the past weeks, for the past month. We've been saying that Israel and the United States of America are controlled by the same handler. All right? We've been saying this, and let us put it this way. We said, I think 2 weeks ago, we said the White House is captured. The White House is captured. And many Americans were fighting. So no, the White House can never be captured. We control the White House. No, Trump is controlled by foreigners. Trump is controlled by Israel. Trump is controlled by the people who control Israel. The White House is captured. If you don't see that, I don't know. If you don't see that, I don't know. We ask a question: how does the United States of America benefit from the war with Iran? What is it that the United States of America seeks to benefit with the war in Iran? If the war is Israel bombing Iran, okay, Israel, what will Israel achieve by bombing Iran? You say Iran has a nuclear, Iran has no nuclear. So what is it? You want Iran not to produce missiles. You want Iran not to produce, what do you call this? Drones of war. So what's in it for the USA? And people cannot give an answer. The USA, they are in this war because they want oil. Israel, it's in this war because Israel wants to control the Middle East. So both Israel and USA, they are in the war for their own selfish reasons. Israel wants to control the Middle East. Israel wants to control the Middle East. Israel currently has no defined borders. Israel wants to expand its territory. And to do that, to do so, Israel must keep stealing land. All right. So Israel wants no power that is mightier than them in the Middle East. And Iran currently, it's mightier military than Israel. So Trump wants oil in Iran. Okay? Israel wants to disarm Iran. So they're working together, same handler. So this handler says to Israel, Israel, this is what we want you to do. Israel, make sure that Iran has no mass weapon of destruction. Make sure that Iran has no nuclear capability. All right. And they say to the United States, as Israel is fighting to control the Middle East, you, United States, we want you to go there and take the oil, control the oil. All right? This is what the war is all about. So until the United States of America controls the oil in Iran, the war will not end. When I said this yesterday, there was somebody who said, I'm under a spell. And I said, this voice, I said Iran did not win. And when I said Iran did not win, people said, man, you're under a spell. Iran won. US is defeated. I said, USA, it may look like it is, but it is not defeated. It is impossible, people. It is impossible, people. This war has higher people. People in higher places are behind this war. All right, let me, for those who have just joined us, welcome to All Things Podcast. For those of you who have just joined us, this is the basis of our analysis, okay? We are analyzing the war based on what the book of Revelation and the book of Daniel said about world kingdoms, world superpowers. You don't have to believe in the book of Daniel and Revelation. You don't have to believe in the Bible for you to understand what I'm about to say. I am not saying it so that I make you a believer, but this is the information in the Bible. It said there will be 7 world superpowers, okay? 7 world superpowers. The first superpower is Babylon. The second is Medo-Persia. The third is Greece. The fourth is pagan Rome. Fifth is papal Rome. 6 is French Revolution. 7 is the United States of America. And all these kingdoms, as prophecy outlined them, they came successively, okay? So the last kingdom is the United States of America. That is why it is impossible to say that the United States of America will lose power. The United States of America, it's coming to an end. The United States of America will not come to an end, whether we like it or not. It is not coming to an end. It is the last world superpower according to prophecy. What we need to understand is whether we believe in prophecy or we don't believe in prophecy, whether we believe in scripture or we don't believe in scripture, the scripture has been fulfilling. It's being fulfilled. It will continue to be fulfilled. So the United States of America, it's now fulfilling scripture by gaining control globally. The United States of America, it seeks to gain control globally. And the United States of America through Project 2025. I'm sure by now we are all familiar with Project 2025. If you're not familiar with Project 2025, download the document Project 2025 Manual. In the Project 2025 Manual, they have identified Venezuela, Iran, China, Russia, North Korea as the imminent danger or enemies of the United States' prosperity, security, and world supremacy. So they are saying that these 5 nations are a danger to what we need to do. And how do we deal with this danger? We need to neutralize these countries. They must neutralize Venezuela, neutralize Iran, neutralize China, Russia, North Korea. And they have already begun with Venezuela. Venezuela is gone, okay? They now control the oil in Venezuela. The United States of America controls the oil in Venezuela. All right. Now, the United States of America also wants to control the 20% of global oil, which comes from the Strait of Hormuz. All right. So Hormuz, it's very important to the United States of America's control, because once they control the Strait of Hormuz, it means the United States of America controls more oil of the world. So once the Strait of Hormuz is shut, the people who are using, who are buying oil from the Middle East, currently, they're not receiving oil, okay? Where do they get their oil? Where do they get their oil? US controls the oil. US controls the oil in Venezuela. US controls most of the market, okay? So the United States does not control the oil in the Middle East. And the oil in the Middle East, it is important, okay? It is important for the United States to control it, to own it. That is why the United States is attacking Iran, because Iran is the superpower of the Middle East. Once they have control of the superpower of the Middle East, then the United States of America can do as they wish with the entire oil of the Middle East. This is where the war is all about. Welcome to All Things Podcast. I am your host, Nazi. Thank you for joining us. If you're joining us for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel and help the channel grow. This is where we bring you the international political analysis, geopolitical analysis, international political and religious analysis. Now, we're going to take a look at what Israel said. You know, Pakistan yesterday told us that the ceasefire agreement included Lebanon. Israel says no, the ceasefire does not include Lebanon. Therefore, we're gonna bomb Lebanon. But when you look at Donald Trump's post, Lebanon is included in the ceasefire agreement. So this is why I'm saying that Israel and the US are liars. They cannot be trusted. You cannot trust Israel. You cannot trust the United States of America. These two cannot be trusted. All right. This is what Donald J. Trump said. He said, agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. This is what Donald Trump said. This is what Donald Trump said. Hey, Wild David, welcome, Wild David, and Mary Name fan, welcome. Charles Sakaho, stop saying things you have no idea of what you don't know. Well, if you talk like that, Charles Sakaho, you the one who doesn't know what you're talking about. Have you been living under a rock, Charles? Have you been living under a rock or inside the sea? Haven't you seen the agreement that happened yesterday? What is it that you're talking about? What is it that you're talking about? All right. So yesterday, this is what Trump said in his Truth Social, okay? It is his own Truth Social. No, it was not hacked. This is Donald Trump telling the world yesterday that the agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East, we received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. This post, it's still there on Donald Trump's Truth Social. It is still there. You can go look at it. So he says here they received a 10-point proposal from Iran, and Trump believes that this 10-point proposal, it is workable. All of a sudden, they change and say it's garbage. We threw it on the garbage bin. It is nonsense. But he told the world that it is workable. And later on to change and say it is not workable, it is garbage, we threw it in the garbage bin. You cannot trust Donald Trump, much as you cannot trust Iran. You cannot trust these two. You cannot trust these two. All right. And they said the agreement included that the U.S. military or the U.S. troops should leave the region. Okay. They agreed that the soldiers, the American soldiers, should leave the region. And Trump all of a sudden changes and says all U.S. ships, aircraft, and military personnel with additional ammunition, weaponry, anything else that is appropriate and necessary for the lethal prosecution and destruction of an already substantially degraded enemy will remain in place. Why is he saying will remain in place? Because earlier on, he had agreed that his troops, his military, everything that had to do with war will begin to be moved out of the Middle East. There was an agreement. It only lasted for a short time. Trump has said the U.S. military will remain in the Middle East and warns that if an agreement with Iran is not reached, then the shooting stars bigger and better and stronger than anyone has ever seen will begin to fall. Remember, Donald Trump said Tuesday it's a power plant day. Tuesday, it's a bridge day. He said on Tuesday, he will annihilate Iran. Tuesday, he will send Iran back to the Stone Age. All right, this is what Donald Trump said. This is what he said. Only to come back on Wednesday, on Tuesday, just an hour before the doomsday. This is when Donald Trump posted and said, I'm no longer bombing Iran because we have reached an agreement. This is what happened yesterday. This is what happened on Tuesday. We are no longer bombing Iran because we have reached an agreement. All right? This is what happened. Later to change that, there was no agreement. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And to those of us, to those of you who are celebrating, saying Iran is powerful, and some even in America were celebrating, saying that America is defeated, USA is defeated. And, I spent many times yesterday saying US is not defeated until somebody said you are under a spell, brother. Until somebody like Charles Akaho, somebody like Charles Akaho said yesterday, brother, you are under a spell. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand geopolitics. Iran has won. USA is defeated. I said, brother, it is impossible. That is not true. And I wonder what happens when they see what is happening today. When you see what is happening today, the reason we can never be wrong is because we are following a chart. We are following a map, a biblical map, a prophecy that told us about the start, the beginning of world kingdoms and the end of world kingdoms. It began with Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome, Papal Rome, French Revolution. The United States of America is the last world superpower. After the United States of America, gaining all control of the world, the United States of America will hand over the power to the papacy. That is why yesterday the papacy was introduced in this war. All right. The Pentagon summoned the Pope's ambassador, told him the United States has the military power to do whatever it wants, and warned that the church better take its side. Okay, now let's deal with the Roman Catholic Church. Let's deal with the papacy. How does the papacy fit in this war? What is the role of the papacy in this war? Because we think the Roman Catholic Church is the church. Separation of church and state. Let me tell you something. There is no separation of church and state. America was founded on those two principles, separation of church and state. All right. But church and state are no longer separate. Okay. Because in fact, it's shocking. In fact, it's shocking. Okay. So is the United States and Israel attacking Iran. You understand? United States and Israel are attacking Iran. Okay. What does the Roman Catholic Church have to do with this war? What does the Pope have to do with this war? Why did the Pentagon summon the Pope's ambassador and told him that the United States of America has the military power to do whatever it wants, and warned that the church, the Roman Catholic Church, must choose a side? Why must the Roman Catholic Church choose the side? Why must the papacy choose the side? Why? Okay, what does the Roman Catholic Church has to do with the war in Iran? Okay, again, let's summarize the war in Iran. Israel wants to expand its territory. Israel wants to be the superpower of the Middle East. Currently, Iran is the stumbling block to Israel because Iran is mighty. Iran is powerful. So Israel cannot control the region, the Middle East, as long as Iran is powerful. Okay? We understand Israel. They're stealing the land in Palestine. They're stealing the land in Lebanon. They're stealing the land wherever because they want to expand their territory. We understand why Israel is involved in the war. Okay? Why is the United States involved in the war? We know that the United States wants to control the oil in Iran. The United States of America wants to control the Strait of Hormuz. So we understand the purpose of the United States in this war. We understand the purpose of Israel in this war. Israel wants to be the superpower of the Middle East, wants to be the bully in the Middle East. The greater Israel, the agenda is the greater Israel. We know that with Israel, we understand that. And we also understand with the United States of America. But tell me, what is the interest of the Roman Catholic Church in this war? What is the interest of the Pope in this war? What is the interest of the papacy in this war? Did you ask yourself that question? Of all churches, why the Roman Catholic Church? Of all churches in the world, why didn't they call the World Council of Churches? Why did they not call all churches into the Pentagon? Why only call the Roman Catholic Church, and you are telling the Roman Catholic Church to pick a side? Why did they not call all churches together and say, churches, choose a side? Why only the Roman Catholic Church? Why only the papacy? Why? It's because the papacy is part of the agenda. It's because the papacy is behind the war. The Jesuits, the Freemason, the Black Pope, all of them are behind the war. This is a way of introducing the Pope. This is the way of introducing the Catholic Church. Like we've been saying, that according to prophecy, the United States of America must gain control of the entire world. And when they've gained control of the entire world, the United States of America will hand over this power to the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church will then, through the help of the USA, enforce a Sunday national law, a Sunday global law. Everyone in the world will be required by law to observe Sunday as 8th day to observe Sunday as a day of rest, a day in which no work is done, no business will be allowed to operate, no traveling will be allowed, a day of rest for everybody globally. It does not matter what your religion is, whether you're Islam, Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, it don't matter whether you're atheist, it doesn't matter. As long you live on earth, you will be required to observe Sunday. This is the agenda. This is how the Pope of Rome fits in this war. All right, Silencio, welcome, brother. Welcome, brother. So this is what is exactly happening. This is what is happening. This is why the Roman Catholic Church is now introduced to this war. Listen, as the chaos erupts more and more in the Middle East, this is what is going to happen, all right? This is what is going to happen. They will look for a man of peace, all right? The Middle East will cry for a man of peace, and that man of peace will be the Pope of Rome, all right? And this Pope of Rome will be made a global leader. Listen, let's go back. I'm loving this. I'm loving this because it's so clear right now. It's so nice. I mean, we can see everything. We can see every piece of the puzzle fitting in properly. All right. When 2 weeks ago we said that the Pope is part of this agenda, people did not believe. But today it is clear the Pope is part of this agenda. All right. It appears as if the Pope's ambassador was warned that the church should take a side. It is not that the church has not taken a side. The church already has taken the side. The Catholic Church is with Israel. The Catholic Church is with Israel. Okay, let me break it down. Let me break it down to you. The Pope of Rome, the Pope is with Israel. The papacy is with Israel. Remember that Israel it contains the historic land, the biblical historic site, the biblical historic land. So the Pope wants the land of Israel. The Pope wants to have control of this holy land, this chosen land, all right? So that the Pope, when elected, when chosen, or when inaugurated as the leader of religion, the Pope can speak from Israel. Many people regard Israel as the Holy Land. Many people regard Israel as God's chosen nation. So the Pope needs the God's chosen nation in order for him to be the world religious leader, to be the leader of the one world religion. He needs to occupy the Holy Land. So when he speaks globally, the population globally will say he speaks from the Holy Land, he speaks on behalf of God. It will be as if God has restored the land of Israel to the Christians or to the popes or to whosoever. This is the agenda, okay? The Pope must occupy Israel. And when the Pope occupies Israel, he must control all the biblical sites in the Middle East. That is why the Greater Israel's mission is to take all the biblical sites in the Middle East. They must take Palestine. They must take it. They need it. All right? They need Lebanon. They must take Lebanon. They must take Jordan. They must take all those biblical land. So the Pope can speak from Israel, saying, I am the vicar of Christ. I am the representative of Christ. In fact, they say he is not only the representative of Christ, the Pope is Christ himself. The Pope is part of the war. The Pope is part of the agenda. Remember, the Pope is ready to take over the world again. Remember, the popes ruled the world from 538 AD to 1798 AD, when the French Revolution dethroned the Pope. Okay? When the French Revolution dethroned the Pope in 1798, the Pope was taken from Rome and sent to prison. and the throne was empty. We had no pope in 1798. In other words, the absence of pope meant that there is no leader, because the pope was both the leader of the state and the leader of the church. So in 1798, when the pope was taken into captivity, there was no leader of the church and the leader of the state. And the prophecy says the papacy then received a deadly wound, but that deadly wound will be healed. Okay, and who gave the deadly wound to the Pope or to the papacy? It was the French Revolution. The French Revolution dealt a deadly blow, or a deadly blow to the papacy, gave it the deadly wound. Now, the United States of America is the doctor to the papacy. The United States of America has to heal the deadly wound of the papacy. And how does the United States of America heal that deadly wound? It heals it by giving the world over to the papacy. So the papacy is part of this war. The papacy is part of this chaos. The papacy is part of it. That is why no China will ever be a superpower. China will never be a superpower. Russia will never be the superpower. Nothing like that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not happening. You listen, it doesn't matter how successful Russia may be. It doesn't matter how successful China may be. They will never be world superpowers. All right? They will not control the world. The only superpower is the United States of America. The United States of America will control Russia, will control China, will control North Korea. It doesn't matter now that you see the rift, you see that North Korea, it's isolated. Don't worry, not for long. Iran was isolated, but now they're busy working with Iran. When they're done with Iran, they're coming for China, they're coming for Russia, they're coming for North Korea. And before you eat me alive, go and download Project 2025. What I'm talking about, it is in that manual. It is contained in the Project 2025 manual. The same manual which Trump is implementing today as we speak. The war with China, it's in the Project 2025 manual. The war with Iran, it's in the Project 2025 manual. The war that will be waged with China, it is in that 2025 manual. Venezuela is in there. China is there. Russia is there. North Korea is there. All right. And this information, the media will not tell you. The media will not tell you, because the same people behind the war are the same people who owns and control the media. By the way, we learned some time ago that most of the presenters of the news anchors, most of them are CIA trained, CIA spies. They work for the CIA. So most of them are just agents of the CIA. So you watch the news, they tell you what they want you to know. But we refuse to listen to what they want us to know. We go beyond what they're telling us. We go beyond and give you deeper, broader, wider analysis of the war. This war, it's broader, it's wider, it's deeper than what you see on the Fox News, than what you see on CNN, than what you see on all of these news cable platforms. The war, it's deeper than that. The war, it's about new world order. It's about a global control. All right? What happens in Mexico? In Mexico, they just said that you are now required to register your number, your cell number, okay? The government must give you a digital ID, all right? Digital ID. If you refuse to register your number, your cell number will be blocked until such a time that you register it, okay? They're saying they're not forcing anybody, it's a choice. So if it is a choice, why do you now deactivate my number? if I choose not to register for the digital ID? Why do you deactivate my number? All right. COVID-19 vaccines, they said it's a choice. We're not forcing everybody to take a vaccine. It's a choice. But if it was a choice, why were people not allowed to go to school, to go to work, to go to shopping centers without vaccination? How can it be a choice, but that choice strips me of my rights? It is never a choice. So this is what the mark of the beast will look like, okay? The mark of the beast will look like this. When the United States of America has gained control of the entire world, the United States of America will hand this power to the papacy, the Roman Catholic Church. And the Roman Catholic Church will say, the world has gone through a lot. There have been wars, there have been pestilences, there have been famine, there have been earthquake, there have been diseases, there have been slaughter, people dying left, right, and center. In order for us to ask forgiveness from God, we need to go back to God. We need to obey God and give God praise and give God worship. Therefore, we are all going to adopt Sunday as a day of rest, a day dedicated to God, a day dedicated to nature. That is what the plan is all about. Do you know, people, that we have a document called Laudato Si'? Laudato Si', a document that Pope Francis was pushing. In that Laudato Si', it talks about what I'm talking about. The plans have been there for a long time. But to implement the plans, you need a crisis. Okay, Laudato Si' says the entire world must keep Sunday as a holiday, or Sunday as a day of rest, a Sunday as a day of family, day of nature, a day to honor Mother Nature. It is there in the Laudato Si', all right? But how can you implement this? This plan, the plan of these people, the plan of the Freemasons, the plans of the Jesuits, the plans of the Illuminati cannot just be implemented. They need a crisis in order to implement them. They are telling us that they will get rid of cash. Okay, we need a cashless society. How can you have a cashless society globally? You need a global catastrophe. Okay, global crisis. When you have that global crisis, then you are then able to implement these things. Okay, order out of chaos. This is what is happening. So Sunday law are coming. The World Economic Forum told us that everyone must keep Sunday, okay? Everyone must keep Sunday. What will happen to those who refuse to keep Sunday holy? What will happen to Muslims who refuse to keep Sunday holy? Because this is what's going to happen. We have different religions in the world, and these different religions, they worship on different days, all right? Worship on different days, okay? You have Christians worshiping on Saturday. Minority of them, they worship on Saturday. Majority of Christians, they worship on Sunday. You have Islam worshiping on Friday. You've got Buddhist, Hindus. You've got other traditional things. They have their own ways of worshiping. But now, the world agenda is to have the entire world having a common day of worship, okay? The entire world must have a common day of worship. And that common day of worship will be Sunday. And you will say, well, why would we choose a Christian day of worship? Sunday is not a Christian day of worship. Sunday, it's a Catholic day of worship. Sunday is Catholic day of worship. It's Catholicism, all right? Sunday is not a Christian day of worship. Therefore, when Islam will say, why are we being forced to worship on a Christian day? The Pope of Rome will say, but Sunday is not a Christian day. When the Buddhists, when the Hindus, when everyone protests on a Sunday, why must we honor a Christian day? They will say, no, but you are wrong. Sunday is not a Christian day of worship. Sunday, it is it is a world day of worship, because nowhere in the Bible does it require people to worship on Sunday. The biblical day of worship is Saturday. This is where all these religions will agree to a Sunday, when they realize that Sunday is not from the Bible. Therefore, by choosing Sunday, it's not choosing Bible. By choosing Sunday, it's not choosing the day of worship in the Bible. Okay, so these religions will come together and vote in favor for Sunday. And therefore, Sunday worship will be a law, a global law. All right. Sunday worship will be a global law, and all who refuse this Sunday worship, Sunday rest, will not be able to buy or sell. That's how the mark of the beast will be implemented. Okay, that's how the mark of the beast will be implemented. And again, let's go to the media. Let's go to the mainstream media. Let's go to Hollywood. Let's go to all of them. What do they say the mark of the beast is? What does the media call the mark of the beast? Do you know that the media, the mainstream media, the movies, Hollywood, they say mark of the beast is 666? They say the mark of the beast is 666, and they say you'll have a mark on your forehead. You'll have 666 on your forehead, and that is the mark of the beast. Or you'll have a chip on your thumb, or you'll have a... Listen, the mark of the beast is not 666. Okay? The mark of the beast is not 666. Daniel 7:25, Robert Bush, Daniel 7:25. Daniel 7:25. Daniel 7:25 tells us the following. In Daniel 7:25, it says the beast power will think to change times and laws of God. All right. The beast power in summary is the one world government led by the papacy, led by the Roman Catholic Church. So when we talk about the beast, we're talking about the one world government, which will be led by the Roman Catholic Church, led by the Pope of Rome. So it says the Roman Catholic Church will think to change times and laws of God. All right. Now, which times did the Roman Catholic Church change? We know biblically a day starts in the evening. Okay, biblically a day starts at sunset. When the sun sets, it's a new day. Today it's Thursday. When the sun sets, it's Friday. We are beginning Friday. Okay, when the sun sets on Friday, it's the new day, Saturday. Biblically, a day starts in the evening. Okay, the Roman Catholic Church changed that time frame. According to the Roman Catholic Church, according to the times that we have now, we are told that a day starts midnight. Okay, at midnight it's a new day. That is not biblical. Biblical, a day starts in the evening. So when it says this power, how do you identify the power? This power has changed the times and laws of God. Which law did the Roman Catholic Church change? They changed the Sabbath. The Sabbath day, according to the Bible, is the seventh day of the week. They changed the day of worship from Saturday to Sunday. Only the Roman Catholic Church fits the beast power and what the beast power was to do. All right. Tori Kennedy says Jesus Christ is not the devil. Silentio. Yes, Kenny, Jesus is not the devil. The devil is the devil. Devil and Jesus Christ are two different beings. All right. So the mark of the beast will be implemented. The mark of the beast will be implemented, and we're going to be told that you are not being forced to receive the mark of the beast. So the mark of the beast is not a number. The mark of the beast is a day of worship by law. The mark of the beast is the day of worship by law. Let me read it for you, okay? So since the source of the mark of the beast is not in the Quran, the source of the mark of the beast is not in the Quran, it's not in the book of Enoch, it's not in the book of Esdras, it's in the book of Revelation, okay? It's in the book of Revelation. And I'm going to read it here for you. In Revelation 13, this is what it says about the mark of the beast. It says, And he is Revelation 13:16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So it says you will receive a mark in your forehead or in your right hand, okay? So this mark of the beast is either you will receive it in your forehead or in your right hand, okay? And that no man might buy or sell, save he that has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of the beast. What is the purpose of this mark of the beast? The purpose of the mark of the beast is to control the buying and selling of the people. The purpose of the mark of the beast is to control who buys, who sells, okay? Only those who have the mark of the beast or the name of the beast or the number of his name will be able to buy or sell. Again, the purpose of the mark of the beast is to control buying and selling. Only those who have the mark of the beast or the number of the beast or the name of the beast will be able to buy or sell. So the purpose of the mark of the beast is to control economy. In other words, the beast will be in charge of the global economy. The beast will be in charge of buying and selling globally. All right, okay. So we now know the mark of the beast, the purpose of the mark of the beast. All right, now let's go back to the Bible. It says that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark of the beast or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Three things are mentioned there. Three things are mentioned there. You have the mark of the beast. Number one, mark of the beast. Number two, the name of the beast. Number three, the number of his name. Three things, okay? The mark of the beast, the name of the beast, the number of his name. Three things. The mark of the beast, the name of the beast, the number of his name. And the Bible says his number is 666, okay? His number is 666, okay? So 666 is not the mark of the beast. 666 is not the name of the beast. 666 is the number of his name. All right? What is the mark of the beast? What is the name of the beast? We know the number of his name. The number of his name is 666. 666 is not the mark of the beast. 666 is not the mark of the beast. But Hollywood, mainstream media has been feeding us through music, through movies, that 666 is the mark of the beast. 666 is not the mark of the beast. 666 is the number of the beast. If 666 is not the mark of the beast, then what is the mark of the beast? What is the mark of the beast? If 666 is not the mark of the beast, what is the mark of the beast? In order for us to know what is the mark of the beast, we need to identify who the beast is. We need to identify who the beast is, because the beast is a world superpower, all right? The beast, it's a world superpower. Again, this is why we're saying it is important for us to know the history of the world superpowers. And the Bible gave us 7 world superpowers. All right. Velon Douglas, welcome, Velon Douglas. Tori Kennedy says, have you read the Ethiopian Bible? Velona Douglas, welcome. And let me welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to All Things Podcast, your international political analysis, international religious analysis. We are dealing with the failed ceasefire and the new player in the war, the Pope of Rome. We were told that yesterday the Pentagon summoned the Pope's ambassador and told him that the United States of America has the military power to do whatever it wants, and warned that the church better take its side. The Roman Catholic Church must choose a side. And we were dealing with why, of all churches, only the Roman Catholic Church was summoned by the Pentagon. Why only the Roman Catholic Church? And we're dealing with that. We are saying the Roman Catholic Church is the beast of Revelation chapter 13. The Roman Catholic Church, or the papacy, is the beast that the Bible is talking about. Because in the book of Daniel chapter 7, the beast is identified, the beast is defined as a nation or a state, okay? Remember, Daniel saw 4 beasts, and when the explanation or the interpretation of the beast came, we were told that a beast represents a nation or a state. So when the Bible talks about the mark of the beast, it's talking about the mark of a state or the authority of the state. The mark represents authority, and the Roman Catholic Church is the only church in the world that fits what prophecy has said about the mark of the beast, or what has said about the beast. The Roman Catholic Church, they say that the mark of their authority, it is in changing the day of worship from Saturday to Sunday. They say that change is the mark of their authority. So the beast has given us its mark. The Roman Catholic Church, or the papacy, says the mark of their authority is changing. It's Sunday. It's Sunday worship. The entire world worship on Sunday today, not because the Bible says so, but because the Roman Catholic Church says so. Tori Kennedy says, you didn't answer my question. The question was, have you ever read the Ethiopian Bible? No, Kennedy, I have not read the Ethiopian Bible. I have not read the Ethiopian Bible. All right, I have not read the Ethiopian Bible. And I said, I'm quoting the source of the mark of the beast, the source of 666, the source of the mark of the beast is the Bible, the book of Revelation chapter 13. All right. So this is what we're saying. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're grateful for choosing us. We're grateful for choosing to spend time with us at this hour. All right. Thank you so much for choosing us. Subscribe to the channel if you are new to this channel. And if you are a regular member, we're grateful for choosing to spend time with us today. John Beckford says, bunch of nonsense. I don't know which one you say it's nonsense. Okay, let me give John Beckford, which part of what we have said is nonsense? Which part is nonsense? So we deal with the nonsense. Remember, All Things Podcast, it's a two-way conversation. If you think what I'm saying is nonsense, help us understand. Because once you say it's nonsense, everybody live with us today, they want to know, why do you say it's nonsense? Help us, John Beckford. Which one is bunch of nonsense? Are you saying the Ethiopian Bible is bunch of nonsense? Or are you saying what we're saying is bunch of nonsense? Help us. Talk to us. Talk to us. What is it that is bunch of nonsense? Do you refer to the Ethiopian Bible as bunch of nonsense, or you are referring to the things we're talking about? We are referring to the papacy. You are referring to the mark of the beast that is bunch of nonsense. Which one is bunch of nonsense? So that we have a conversation where we're moving together. Remember, it is okay for us to disagree. Everyone is allowed to share their opinion. If you think what I'm presenting is wrong, give us what you think is correct. Okay? What we do not allow somebody to disagree and not show us their facts. Okay? And it's not an attack on John Beckford. It's not an attack on John Beckford. We're simply saying, you say bunch of nonsense. What is the bunch of nonsense? What is it? We just want to get your opinion. Is it the Ethiopian Bible, or is what we're talking about concerning the papacy, the Roman Catholic Church, or you are referring to the war? Bunch of nonsense. All right. Talk to us, brother. Talk to us, brother. And this is why we are here. We want to talk and share whatever that we know. All right. Now, remember I said, why of all churches you choose the Vatican? All right. Why choose the Vatican? And the reason we're talking about the Roman Catholic Church is because the Roman Catholic Church is involved in the war. Not the Presbyterian, not the Baptist Church, not the Seventh-day Adventist Church, all right? Not the Wesley. Nah, it is the Roman Catholic Church that is part of the war. All right? It is the Roman Catholic Church that is part of the war. We have more than 30,000. We have more than 30,000 denominations in the world. We have more than 30,000 denominations in the world. And of all the 30,000 denominations in the world, the Pentagon decided to call the Roman Catholic Church. Why the Roman Catholic Church? Okay. Do you know why they call the Roman Catholic Church? Let me fill you up. Let me fill you in. Let me fill you in. But before I fill you in, let me have a sip of my water. My throat is getting hotter and hotter. The reason they called the Roman Catholic Church, the reason it was not the Presbyterian, the reason it was not the Baptist, the reason it was not the Seventh-day Baptist Church, the reason it was not a Sunday Baptist Church, the reason it was not the Lutheran Church, the reason they did not call the Methodist Church is because the Methodist Church, the Lutheran Church, the Baptist Church, the Presbyterian Church are not part of prophecy. The Roman Catholic Church is part of prophecy. The Presbyterian Church, the Lutheran Church, the Methodist Church are not part of the war. The Roman Catholic Church is part of the war. Now, let me show you why they called the Roman Catholic Church. Do you know the Roman Catholic Church regards itself as the mother of all churches? We know that. The Roman Catholic Church is not a sister to the churches. The Roman Catholic Church is the mother of churches, okay? The Roman Catholic Church is the mother of all churches. And that's how the Bible calls her in Revelation 17. She's called the mother of harlots, okay? She's called the mother of harlots. So the reason the Roman Catholic Church was summoned by the Pentagon is because the Roman Catholic Church is the mother of all churches. The Roman Catholic Church controls all churches. We have what we call the Global Council, the World Council of Churches. The World Council of Churches. Who runs the World Council of Churches? Who is in charge of the World Council of Churches? None other than the Pope of Rome. None other than the Pope of Rome. So when they call the Roman Catholic Church, or when they summon the Pope's ambassador and told him that the United States is calling on the Roman Catholic Church to choose a side, when the Roman Catholic Church chooses a side, whatever side the Roman Catholic Church chooses, the entire Christian world has chosen that side. Because the Roman Catholic Church is the mother of all churches. All churches worship on Sunday because the Roman Catholic Church instituted Sunday worship. Nobody who goes to church on Sunday will point in the scriptures that the Bible says they must worship on Sunday. It's because the Roman Catholic Church tells them to do so. The Roman Catholic Church is the founder of Sunday worship. The Roman Catholic Church instituted Sunday worship. That is why the Roman Catholic Church not only instituted Sunday worship, but when did it do so? It did so from 538 AD to 1798 AD. And according to prophecy, the Roman Catholic Church will come back to rule the world. The Pope will come back to rule the world. So the Pope will be given power to be the head of the one world government and be the head of the one world religion. So they are calling the Pope into order because the Pope, day before yesterday, came out and said, this war must stop. This war must end. And they're simply saying, Pope, we're doing this for you. But when you speak in the world, you are saying the war is bad. But everything we're doing so that we can hand over this power to you. And they're saying, man, pick a side. Pick a side. But I can tell you, these are all theatrics. This is all drama. This is all designed to confuse us. Because we must look at the United States and say the Pentagon, why is the Pentagon threatening the Pope? Why is the Pentagon threatening the Roman Catholic Church? Why is the Pentagon being involved in church matters? What about the separation of church and state? They are just playing us. They're just playing us. The Pope is behind the war. We said it long time ago, I think about 2 weeks ago, that the Pope is the most dangerous, most powerful man in the world. Trump is not the most powerful man in the world. The Pope is the most powerful man in the world because the Pope controls the United Nations. The Pope controls the religions of the world. There is no powerful man like the Pope in the world. All the leaders of the United Nations, they have their embassies in the Vatican. I mean, the Vatican is the smallest city, the smallest country. Yet all United Nations, they go to the Vatican, they bow down to the Pope, they kiss the Pope, they surrender their nations to the Pope. The Pope is the most powerful man in the world. The Vatican City house the most powerful man in the world, the Pope. The United Nations, it's under the control of the Pope. All religions are under the control of the Pope. See, the United Nations, it's a group of all nations of the world under one umbrella called the United Nations. The World Council of Churches, all religions of the world, whether atheism, Buddhist, Judaism, Zionism, all religions of the world are under that umbrella, World Council of Churches. Whether they believe in God or they don't believe in God, whether they worship trees, they worship nature, it don't matter what they worship. The Pope is the leader of the World Council of Churches. The Pope is the leader of the United Nations. I know some of you will quickly go and say, who's the leader of the United, or who's the leader of the United Nations? I know you will do that. I know you will do that. And you'll go, who's the leader of the World Council of Churches? And you'll come back and say, but the Pope is not the Pope is not even the secretary of the World Council of Churches. You'll come back and bite me and say, but brother, you are wrong. Listen, guys, these people, these people, they work behind the scenes. These people, they work behind the scenes. The World Council of Churches was founded by the papacy. The United Nations is founded by the Jesuits, the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the people who are behind everything that we see. These people own the banks of the world. They own the pharmaceutical industry. They own everything, the media. Globally, they own the media. They own everything. These are the people who runs the world. The Pope manages everything on their behalf. Right now, it does not yet appear how the Pope is in charge of the United Nations. It does not yet appear how the Pope is in charge of the religion. Okay, now let me tell you something. Let me ask this question. Which nation is against the Pope? Which nation is against the Pope? When this new Pope was elected, globally, every media house globally was live showing us the Pope's election. Globally, there is no state media, even private media, that was not airing the election of the Pope. Globally. Globally. And you say, but what is the significance of that? The significance of that is they made sure that everyone in the world needs to know that a pope is being elected. So those who did not understand, they just thought it's just an election of the pope. But we knew that this election of the pope is vital. It's important because it's going to usher us to a new dispensation. It's going to usher us to a new world order. All right. All right, welcome to All Things Podcast. Subscribe to the channel if you are not yet subscribed to the channel. We are bringing you the international political analysis, international global analysis. So when we analyze the war in Iran, we do not analyze it according to what is happening in the Middle East, because that's a distraction. That's a distraction. This is a global event. This is a global power. That's why oil prices did not rise only in the Middle East. The oil prices rose globally to show that whatever is happening, it's a global crisis. So we cannot analyze it with a regional eye. We need to put on our global goggles, global spectacles. We need to look at it globally, analyze it globally. Anybody who analyzes the crisis in the Middle East, anyone who analyzes the war between Israel, Iran, and the United States, you analyze it in regionally, you are missing the point. This is a global event, because from now on, every war that is fought, every war that is started, it will be a war that has global consequences, okay? Global effects, all right? Global effects. Gone are the days of a regional war. Gone are the days that a war can be waged somewhere and all of us in the world will sit back and relax and say, well, it does not touch us, it does not affect us. Any war that will be fought from now on is a global event with a global mission, a global crisis. All right. They are talking about a global reset, a global reset. How are you going to have a global reset? You need a crisis. The entire world is still to be plunged into a war. We are still going to see wars and rumors of wars. Okay. There's going to be wars and rumors of wars. Many people are still going to die. Many innocent people are still going to die. You thought United States is a democratic country. I can tell you the United States of America, it's not a democratic country. The United States of America, it's not a democratic country. Because if the United States of America was a democratic country, it will favor democracy. It does not allow democracy. In fact, the United States of America define what democracy is. They choose what is democracy. They choose what is democratic. If they feel something, it doesn't matter how democratic the country can be. It doesn't matter how free the country can be. If the United States decides that is not democracy, they are coming for that country. They will invade that country and change the leadership of that country. What was wrong in Venezuela? Nothing was wrong in Venezuela. Nothing was wrong in Venezuela. What was wrong in Iran? Nothing was wrong in Iran. But the United States of America said, we want Iran. We want the oil in Iran. And the handlers of the United States of America and the handlers of Israel, they want Iran. Both of them. They want to neutralize Iran. So USA and Israel, they have a common enemy. The common enemy of Israel and United States of America is Iran. Israel wants to uh, to to strip Iran of its capability, military capability, because Israel wants to be the superpower in the Middle East. Israel wants to be the bully of the Middle East. You see, Israel is bullying the Middle East, they're bullying Lebanon, okay? And Iran is the only nation in the Middle East that can stand against Israel. So Israel needs help to neutralize Iran. They are saying Iran should not be able to create weapons. Iran should not be able to create drones, to create missiles, okay? Only Israel in the Middle East should have that capability. So Iran should not be able to do so. That's why Israel is attacking Iran. They want to destroy the military power, military strength of Iran so that Israel can be the only superpower in the Middle East. Al-Sad, welcome. Al-Sad, Danon Nanij, welcome. Al-Sad says, tell us what you think. Listen, I'm going to tell you what I think. And in fact, I don't have to tell you what I think. I tell you what prophecy has said. I tell you what the Bible has prophesied. Okay, let me tell you what the Bible has prophesied will happen. Okay, the Bible told us in the book of Daniel and Revelation that there will be 7 world superpowers. Okay, the first world superpower was Babylon. The second world superpower was the Medes and the Persians. The third was Greece, led by Alexander the Great. The fourth world superpower was pagan Rome, the Roman Empire. Okay, the fifth world superpower was papacy. The papacy, it was led by the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church was controlling both the Roman Empire and the church. The Roman Catholic Church and the Roman Empire were led by the Pope. So the Pope was the leader of both church and state. In the fifth kingdom, the papacy, there was no separation of church and state. Church and state were united. The Roman Catholic Church controlled the church and also controlled the empire. That was the fifth kingdom, okay? World superpower. The sixth world superpower was the French Revolution, because the French Revolution, seeing what the Roman Catholic Church was doing, the Roman Catholic Church was forcing people to worship according to their standards, okay? So those who refused to bow down to the Roman Catholic Church system, the Roman Catholic Church changed the day of worship from Saturday to Sunday. The Roman Catholic Church introduced many pagan worship, okay? Worshiping the sun, worshiping the moon, worshiping idols. Christianity was forbidding idol worship, but the Roman Catholic Church, when they infiltrated Christianity, they brought about idol worship. They only changed the names of the idols, okay? They always had a mother and a baby. When they infiltrated Christianity, they renamed the mother with the baby, the statue, the idols. The idol of a mother and the baby, they renamed her Mary, and the baby was named Jesus. Okay, that has always been in the Catholic system of worship. Okay, so when those Christians refuse this new worship system introduced by the Roman Catholic Church, when they refused and rejected it, they were prosecuted and persecuted by the Roman Catholic Church, because the Roman Catholic Church controlled the state. So the Roman Catholic Church made a law that we're going to destroy all Bibles. Should you be found with a Bible, you are imprisoned, jailed, killed, okay? They made a law that you are to worship on Sunday. Failure to worship on Sunday, you are persecuted, jailed, killed, property taken, your house taken, your business taken. You are not able to do any business if you do not worship on Sunday. So many Christians refused. That is where we had what we call the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages. Who was in charge during the Dark Ages, the Dark Ages? It was the Roman Catholic Church. So those of you who didn't know, the Roman Catholic Church is both a state and a church. The Roman Catholic Church is not just a church. The Roman Catholic Church, it's powerful, it's mighty, and the Roman Catholic Church, it's not just a church. It's a powerful entity. The Roman Catholic Church has leaders almost in all the nations of the world, because the Roman Catholic Church once ruled the world from 538 AD to 1798 AD. When the Pope was taken into captivity in 1798 AD, the leaders that the Roman Catholic Church, or the leadership that the Pope had installed globally, were not removed. They continued. All right? The leadership that the Pope had installed globally were not removed. Only the Pope was removed. Therefore, in all countries, the Roman Catholic Church has influence, has leaders. Okay, the Jesuits. That's why the Jesuits are everywhere. The Jesuits are in every country. Who planted them? They were sent in those countries during the reign of the papacy, the papal power. Okay, so the papal power, it's kingdom number 6. And it's kingdom number 5. I beg your pardon. The papal power, it's kingdom number 5, or world superpower number 5. And it was the French Revolution that destroyed or took the Pope into captivity, and therefore ended the reign of the Roman Catholic Church globally. The French Revolution. The French Revolution ended the supremacy of the Roman Catholic Church, or the control of the Roman Catholic Church, in 1798. Okay? Now, what happened from then? From 1798, the Pope, or the Roman Catholic Church, was not in charge of the world, but the Roman Catholic Church had leadership all over the world, had leadership in the countries, in the nations of the world. And when the French Revolution, the Sixth Kingdom, did what it did, the United States of America was rising into power. And the United States of America, it's now a world superpower, which makes it the 7th world superpower and the last superpower. This is what is happening today. Now, the United States of America needs to be in charge of the entire world. And when we say the United States of America needs to be in charge of the entire world, it must be in charge of all the resources of the world. It must be in charge of all the resources of the world. It must be in charge of oil. That is why the United States of America is waging war in Iran. America wants the oil in Iran. They want to control the Strait of Hormuz. That's why the United States is fighting in Iran. Most of people say, what is America doing in Iran? It will benefit nothing to the United States when you look at it with a regional eye. But when you look at it with a global, when you bring in global analysis, what the United States will achieve in Iran is controlling the oil of the Middle East, because the Strait of Hormuz is controlled by Iran as we speak. So the United States must control the oil in Iran, the oil in the Middle East, the Strait of Hormuz, which supplies the world with 20% of the oil of the world, comes from there. So this is what is happening, and that is prophecy, okay, about the United States of America, not Israel. Israel is not part of prophecy, okay? Israel is not part of end-time prophecy. Israel has no role in the end-time prophecy. The only entity that has a role in the end-time prophecy is the papacy, is the Roman Catholic Church. But now, because the Roman Catholic Church knows that Israel has no role to play when it comes to the end-time prophecy, the papacy is using Israel now to do its bidding. The papacy wants the land of Israel, wants the land of Palestine. Israel is the papacy's baby. The Roman Catholic Church planted what we call Israel today, all right? To use it to gain control of the biblical land, the biblical sites, okay? So what the papacy is doing now through Israel is to still the land of Palestine, still the land in the Middle East, all those biblical sites, they are needed by the papacy so that when the Pope finally becomes the global leader, becomes a world leader, becomes the religious leader, he will speak from what many nations, many people of the world regards as Holy Land. We know that many people regard Israel as the Holy Land, the chosen nation, the land of God. So the Pope must own the chosen nation. He cannot be a religious leader, but he does not own the very same land, which is the Holy Land. He cannot be a religious leader and not control the Holy Land, a chosen land. So the Pope must control Israel, must control those biblical sites, so that when he speaks as a global leader, he will speak from Israel. I know some of you know that they are planning to build a third temple. What is the purpose of that third temple? They want to make sacrifices on behalf of the world. Say, Lord, we are sorry. We have not been right. We have done evil things. They want to sacrifice their evil sacrifice, their wicked sacrifice, their satanic sacrifice, satanic rituals. But you and I will be told is the temple of the Lord. But I can tell you for free, the temple they are planning to build, it's about wickedness, sacrifice, satanic rituals that they want to do to their evil master, the devil himself. So what I can tell you is that prophecy is being fulfilled. And many people, especially Christians, the evangelicals, the Pentecostals, I do not understand why Christians support Israel. It is not in the Bible that today the Christians, it is not scriptural. It is not scriptural that Christians are required to support Israel today. Nowhere in scripture, nowhere in Bible are we required to support Israel. It's a lie, it's a scam. Israel has no role to play in the day. Biblically, Israel is mentioned nowhere in the prophecies of Daniel and in the prophecies in the book of Revelation. Israel has no role to play in the last days. But because the Jesuits, the Freemasons, they see that they can manipulate Christians using the Scofield Bible. The Scofield Bible is the Bible which has notations that talks about Israel in the last days, that talks about Israel as the holy nation, chosen nation, which must be supported financially, protected, defended by all Christians. It is not in the Bible, it's the Scofield Bible notations. And all Christians today, they are drunk with the wine of the Scofield Bible. All Christians today are deceived by the notations of the Scofield Bible, telling them it was the Jesuits, it was the Freemasons, it was the Illuminati that founded and funded the writing of the Scofield Bible. All those notations belong in the Jesuits, in the Freemasons, in the Illuminati, in the billionaires of this world. It is not biblical. How can Christians support a nation that is not a Christian nation? Israel is not a Christian nation. We know. We know that Israel is not a Christian nation. Israel is Judaism. Israel is Zionism. In fact, Israel, till today, they tell you that they killed Jesus because Jesus was an imposter. They don't believe Jesus died and rose again. They believe that they killed Jesus. They hung Jesus on the cross, but his disciples came at night and stole Jesus. That is Israel. They don't believe Jesus is the Messiah. They don't believe Jesus is the Son of God. They believe Jesus was an intruder whom they killed, whom they destroyed. That is Israel. How can Christians support such a nation? Welcome to All Things Podcast. Subscribe to the channel if you are not yet. Subscribe to the channel. And thank you to all our new subscribers. I can see we've gained a couple of subscribers. Thank you so much for choosing to spend these hours with us. Thank you so much for subscribing, to those of you who have subscribed to the channel. Subscribe if you are not yet subscribed. This is what we're talking about. So Israel has no role to play in the last days. No role to play. But because people are drunk with the wine of the Schofield Bible, as Bible designed by the Jesuit, a Bible designed by the Freemasons, it has notations, it has notes. It has notes that refers to Israel as a chosen nation, Israel as a holy people, Israel as a land that must be protected. It is not biblical. It's notes in the Schofield Bible. How can a Christian support a nation that is killing Christians in Israel? Christians are not free in Israel. Christians are mocked in Israel. The annexing of land, all the lands of Christians are being stolen by Israel, both in Lebanon, both in Beirut, both in Palestine. Israel is prosecuting Christians. How can you support such a nation that does not believe in your God? Christians believe Jesus is God. Christians believe Jesus is the Son of God. Israel does not believe that. Christians believe in the second coming of Jesus Christ. Israel does not believe in the second coming of Jesus Christ. How can Christians support that? Nonsense. So Israel has no role to play in the last days, but the Roman Catholic Church, the papacy, the Jesuits, the Freemasons are using Israel because many people, once you talk about Israel, they say that's a holy nation. That's a chosen nation. Those are the people. Whatever they do, it's good. Whatever they do, it's holy. Do you know that people who believe that Israel can never be wrong? Do you know that people who believe Israel is never wrong? Israel is doing the Lord's work. You cannot oppose Israel. You cannot rebuke Israel because Israel, it's a holy nation. Israel, it's a people of God. That is why the Pope wants Israel. He knows that he can do anything as long as he speaks from Israel. Everyone will believe him. No one will question him. Everyone will support the Pope because he is speaking from the Holy Land. That's why the Pope wants the land of Israel. Silencio, Jesus is not the Antichrist. The Antichrist is the papacy. By the way, do we understand what the Antichrist is? Do we understand what the Antichrist is? The Antichrist is not somebody who's against Christ. Antichrist is not somebody who is against Christ or against Christianity. Antichrist is somebody who claims to be Christ. Okay? Antichrist is somebody who claims to be Christ. So when you say Jesus is Antichrist, it does not make sense because Jesus is Christ. Okay? Antichrist is somebody who claims to be Christ, who claims to be in the place of Christ. That is Antichrist. Okay? Now, who in the world today claims to be Christ? Which entity has a man who claims to be Christ and that entity sees that man or recognizes that man as Christ? It is none other than the Roman Catholic Church. The Pope of Rome is Christ, according to the Roman Catholic Church writings. Even the Triple Crown of the Pope, has a title, Vicarius Filii Dei. What is Vicarius Filii Dei? Vicarius Filii Dei is Latin for Vicar of Christ or the substitute of Christ. All right? So the Pope does not believe he is the servant of Christ. The Pope believes he is Christ. Remember, the Pope is a position. Pope, it's a position that is occupied by a man. And the Roman Catholic Church believes that each man that occupies that Pope ceases to be a man. They become a deity. They become divine. They become God. So every Pope who has ever occupied that seat has been regarded or seen as God on earth. Pope Leo claimed to be God on earth. Francis, God on earth. Paul, All the popes believed that there were God on earth. Silencio, you say Israel is the nation of God. Brother, Israel was once a nation of God. Nobody can deny that. Anybody who says Israel was never a nation of God, that's a fool. Israel was once a chosen nation by God. Israel was once God's nation. Israel was once God's people, apple of his eye. That's Bible. But Israel was given a time to repent, okay? Israel was given a time to repent, and Israel did not repent. Israel went astray from God, and therefore God left Israel. We know Israel rejected Jesus Christ, and when Israel rejected Christ, the same man who had come to unite Israel with God, the same man who had come to make sure that Israel remained God's chosen nation, remained God's people. They rejected Jesus Christ, and by rejecting Jesus Christ, they rejected God himself, because Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is God himself. When Israel rejected Jesus, they rejected God himself. And after they rejected Jesus, they were left with 3.5 years to repent. And when the 3.5 years came for them to repent, the last chance, what did they do? In AD 34, they stoned Stephen. And when they were stoning Stephen, Stephen was preaching, talking about Jesus Christ. What did they do? The Bible says they plugged their ears. They did not want to listen to what Stephen was preaching, and they stoned him to death. When they stoned Stephen to death in AD 34, that was the last time Israel rejected God, and that was the last time God ceased to see Israel as his apple of his eye. So from AD 34, Israel's rejection of God was sealed. From AD 34, Israel was no longer God's chosen people, God's chosen nation. That is biblical history. If the Jews claim to be God's chosen people using the Bible, okay? If the Jews claims to be God's chosen people using the Bible, the very same Bible brings the end of Jews as God's chosen people. So you cannot pick and choose. Yes, in the Old Testament, they are God's chosen people, but they cease to be God's chosen people in the New Testament. Didn't Jesus say to them, your house is left unto you desolate? Don't you have that Jesus saying, oh Israel, like a hen that covers its cheek, I will have done so to you, but you did not allow me. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. What did Jesus mean when he says, Israel, you are left desolate? It was God withdrawing his presence from Israel. It was God withdrawing himself from Israel. From AD 34, Israel was not with God. Israel was left. The presence of God is no longer in Israel. By the way, what made Israel a holy nation? What made Israel a holy land? It was the presence of God. It was the presence of God. You'll remember Moses in the burning bush. The bush that was burning, Moses was familiar with the bush. It was not the first time Moses was in that bush. It was a place he was familiar with. But the day the presence of the Lord was in the burning bush, what did the Lord say to Moses? He said, remove your shoes, for you are standing on the holy ground. What made the ground holy? It was the presence of the Lord in that burning bush. So what made Israel a holy nation? What made Israel God's chosen people? It was the presence of God in Israel. The moment God left Israel, it ceased to be a holy nation. It ceased to be God's chosen people. No place can be holy without the presence of God. Subscribe to the channel if you are not yet subscribed to the channel. Thank you for choosing to spend this time with us. Welcome if you are watching us for the first time. This is All Things Podcast, live from South Africa, analyzing the political global, international politics that are happening, analyzing the religious things, religious movements that are happening, we see that the Pope of Rome has been invited to join the war. We see that the Roman Catholic Church has been invited to choose sides. And I'm saying, why was the Roman Catholic Church invited to choose a side? It's because the Roman Catholic Church is part of the war. And it's because the Roman Catholic Church will come back to rule the world after the United States of America. The United States of America is gaining control of the world so that it can hand over this power to the papacy. The papacy will then enact a national Sunday law, a global Sunday law, where everyone in the world, it doesn't matter which religion you are from, it doesn't matter whether you are an atheist, a Buddhist, Hindus, Presbyterian, Baptist, it don't matter, Methodist, it doesn't matter which denomination you belong to. All people in the world will be forced to honor Sunday, will be forced to rest on Sunday, will be forced to keep Sunday holy by the papacy, the Roman Catholic Church. And that will lead to the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is Sunday law it's Sunday worship by law. When the Roman Catholic Church, after it has come back into power, will enact a Sunday law, a Sunday global law, through the help of the United States of America. Any person, any church, any religion that will refuse to worship, to honor Sunday, the Bible says they will not be able to buy or sell. The mark of the beast will control the buying and selling, and that buying and selling will be controlled through Sunday worship, because the entire world will agree that let us observe Sunday as the world day of rest, the world day of worship. And those who will refuse and say, we will not honor Sunday, you will not be able to buy, you will not be able to sell. The Pope has been warned to take sides. Well, we'll continue tomorrow. We'll continue tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Subscribe to the channel. Do not leave without subscribing. There's a lot to share, but our time is over. We only have 2 hours each day to share. We only have 2 hours each day to share our analysis. Let me close with Candace Owens. Let me close with Candace Owens responding to the threat to the Vatican City, responding to the threat to the Pope's ambassador. All right. Trump's administration summoned a Vatican diplomat to the Pentagon, and during the tense meeting, a U.S. official invoked the Avignon papacy. On July 4th, the American Pope will be in La Pedusa. He didn't pick that date by accident. Woo! The Trump administration gave a Vatican envoy a beta lecture warning that the United States has the military power to do whatever it wants. So they say, Pope, we have power to do whatever we want. Now, assuming this is what Candace Owens says, she says, assuming this is true, we need to know who specifically in the White House threatened the Vatican envoy. The actual names of the individuals involved should be known to the public. Candace Owens says, we need to know who threatened the ambassador, who threatened the Vatican, who threatened the ambassador of Pope, saying that they must pick a side. I can tell you for free, these are all theatrics. They work together. They work together. The Pope knows what is happening. The Pope controls Israel. The Pope controls USA. This is what many people are failing to understand because they are not following the blueprint. We have the blueprint. Our blueprint is prophecy. Our blueprint is the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation. Our blueprint is the 7 world empires: Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, pagan Rome, papacy, French Revolution, the United States of America. These are the 7 world empires. And according to prophecy, the United States is the last empire. And the United States is the most powerful nation and under the earth. No other nation. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us meet tomorrow with more analysis. Ceasefire has been broken. Ceasefire has been broken. Israel rejected the ceasefire, saying we were not consulted on the ceasefire. We were not part of the ceasefire. We rejected. We'll continue bombing. And Israel, as of last night, as of yesterday, continued bombing Lebanon, continued bombing Iran. Iran continued defending itself and sending missiles to Tel Aviv. So the war continues. The war continues. No ceasefire. I said it did not make sense that Pakistan could be more powerful than the handlers of Netanyahu. I said Pakistan cannot have more power, more influence over America, more influence over Israel. We said the White House has been captured, and those who have captured the White House are showing us that they are still powerful, still in charge of the United States, still in charge of Israel. That's why the war continues. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us meet tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe.